In this video, we will discuss Bluebooking international secondary sources. Luckily, citations for secondary sources generally involves books or encyclopedias, so the citations will be similar to those you are already familiar with. The good news is that you will already know how to cite to most international secondary sources because they follow basic Bluebook rules. Rule 15 covers books and any non-periodic materials like dictionaries and encyclopedias, and Rule 16 is used for law review articles. Remember that Rule 18 will overlap with any secondary source you can access electronically. The general rule for electronic sources is to use the type of citation that applies to the print source. Even if you pull a law review article from Hein Online, you will still cite the original volume and page number from the journal it was published in. Under Rule 18.2, you may use and cite to electronic sources when they are authenticated, official, or an exact copy of the original. You do not need to provide a URL if the citation can be made to the original print source. Keep in mind that you may use a secondary source to help you locate a primary one, but you should only cite to the secondary source when you are referring to information contained only in that source. For example, if you use Oxford Constitutions of the World to locate the Constitution for Algeria, you would still cite to the Constitution itself in your legal writing. If the Constitution is difficult to find anywhere else, or if a good translation is available in the secondary source you found, you will still want to provide a parallel citation or an available link to the secondary source so that your reader can locate it. Our main Bluebooking series covers the basics of citations to books, and the bulk of secondary sources come in the form of dictionaries, treatises, nutshells, or other common book formats will follow the same rules. Pay attention, however, to Rule 15.8 on special citation forms. The special forms are helpful to reference when citing to dictionaries and encyclopedias. Because there is seldom a single author in these types of citations, the citation form varies. When there is no author for the section you are citing, your citation generally begins with the section title or volume, followed by the title of the work, then, depending on the work, the section, and finally, the edition and the year in parentheses. The Max Planck Encyclopedia of International Law is an example of an encyclopedia that has separate authors for each entry. The easiest way to include all the necessary information for a specific entry is to treat it like a smaller work in a collection. Using Rule 15.5, list the author and the title of the article you are referring to, followed by an "in" and then the citation to the entire encyclopedia. Notice that the word "in" is also in italics in this type of citation. Remember that you can always include an available at URL if it would help your reader to locate the source you are referring to. There are some resources that are available online only, such as the Foreign Law Guide, which means you will need to use Rule 18 to properly cite any information you pulled out of that database. When making a direct citation to an online-only source, you should just put the URL after the last comma. Don't include the words available at. If a source is available in both print and in a commercial database, just name the database in place of the URL. Restatements have a special citation form under Rule 12 alongside model codes, and the Restatement of Foreign Relations Law fits into this format. Make sure you indicate the specific section number you are referencing or referring. Your books and digests have some guidelines in Rule 21 as well. For examples of citations to digest, see Rule 21.16, which discusses how to cite to the U.S. Department of State Digest and how to treat foreign digests. Your books fall under Rule 21.15, but keep in mind that both of these sources collect primary sources from other locations, and you should generally try to cite to the document or statute you located rather than to the digest. There are unique rules for the United Nations materials, which we will cover in a later video. However, Know that if you are dealing with a yearbook or periodical produced by the United Nations, the citation rules fall under 21.7.8.